And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the top left-hand corner of Entombed Valley. We have our blue Zerg player from Team SCV Life, the guy who has indeed won 2 games in a row. It's Ragnarok. And his opponent in the lower left-hand corner, our red Zerg player from FXO, Lucky.
So Lucky really making his breakout performance. We were talking about it during the break, during IPL 3. A lot of people, where did this guy come from? How is he dominating so incredibly well? Of course, had a little bit of a tough time against Stefano. Has probably been working on his ZVZ quite a bit since they're pulling him out here against Ragnarok, who gave a great performance in Game 1. So let's see how it does develop. Of course, it is Entombed Valley, a pretty easy map to work your way towards 3 bases, but they are in close by air positions, which opens up a lot of opportunities. It
does. And the Overlords are going to find each other very quickly. So, and they're actually going to find each other in enough time that if they were planning, let's just say, to go, hatch first or whatever the case is, that they could actually, totally pivot and decide to do something weird if they wanted to, as the Overlords do actually cross each other's path now. So, Ragnarok thus far has been playing pretty safe play. He decided to go for the hatch first in game number 1 and just played a little bit longer, drawn-out Roach-based game where he did some damage with Banelings and denied his opponent's 3rd. I wouldn't expect too much different from him, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? If it works the first time around, why not give it a try on the second? Now, you definitely don't want to be completely identical. If your opponent realizes what you're going to be up to in the early stages of the game, they're like, oh, this looks exactly like what Game 1 appeared to be. Well, then they can kind of make some predictions. But as we see, the pull on the way right now for Ragnarok, Lucky instead going for the hatchery. So it's okay. I feel pretty comfortable here. But he is going to have to worry about the possibility of speed coming out of Ragnarok.
Yeah, and we'll see what kind of a scout he gets in here with. Looks like it's just Overlords for now. And, he sees the expansion being put down, but he sees it being put down later than even, a normal player that's deciding to go for just the pool and hatch would actually throw that down, as we did see that extractor that you pointed out before come out. So, starting to accumulate gas. Looks like he's only going to be about 3 or 4 seconds ahead in terms of his gas timing, but he's already have queens out with injects. He already has the threat of Zerglings out on the field, and that's something Lucky will have to deal with.
Absolutely the case. Which Entombed Valley, it's a pretty nice map to deal with it. Not the easiest, though. Here's the problems you can run into. So you have this creep spread. It spreads about to yay point. We had a nice little arc here. So, a lot of times you want to rely on this spine crawler in a good position along with your queen, but this is not a map where you can do such a thing. The creep only spreads so far, and you can't be having your queen easily wall off without dropping down a creep tumor. The spine crawler cannot be in a position where it's going to be able to defend both the ramp and the mineral line. There's a little bit of a sweet spot here, but honestly, it's less than ideal. Then your hatchery's not defended on the top. So it's not the easiest map to defend against aggression, which is why I was pointing it out. It is pretty prevalent that these guys are also... It's pretty important to mention here that they're in close by air positions on Entombed Valley. Not the easiest map to defend on.
No, you're absolutely right. Lucky now, though, of course, he decided to go for hatch first, so he's got to drop down that Baneling nest to make sure he stays safe. We, of course, know that there's already some Zerglings out on the field for Ragnarok pushing through, but Lucky, he had his forward Overlords in plenty of position to be able to pick up on this. Already starting to move some queens down, and he is going to be able... He has no problems whatsoever. No subsequent links have actually followed this up, so Ragnarok, he's going to poke around here, but he's not going to do all that much damage.
So got knocked in the red, immediately popped back into the orange. He's having a good day so far. Spine crawler building in that little position actually that we were talking about, which a little surprised about, but honestly, and the Banelings actually makes a lot of sense. In order for you to get up to this northern portion of the mineral line and hatchery, you have to make it past the Banelings first. So they make it pretty easy to do that, and ideally we see he's going to be moving that forward. And on Ragnarok's side of the board, he's just droning right now, Kevin. He's got his Baneling nest on the way, but even continuing to pump out drones. And we do see a lot of Zerglings on the way right now for Lucky.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at that drone count as we see 4 more on the way. So, wow, a significant advantage for Ragnarok. He's actually going to be up to 32 here in just a second. So he'll now have to switch gears and defend. And we kind of see CVZ start like this. Used to be a lot more prevalent in the days of y'all when they would test their mettle with more Zergling, Baneling kind of tug-of-war play. For now, though, there's 8 Banelings actually morphing in for Lucky. That's a lot. That's a huge resource investment, 200 on top of the 100 resources to actually put those Zerglings out there. So Ragnarok has to be on his best guard.
Oh, Ragnarok blowing some banelings in a much less than cost-efficient trade. 2 for 2. Oh, no. Very few banelings left now for Ragnarok, but a decent trade there at the end. But ultimately, both queens got taken out. Ragnarok needed better engagements than that. We see 2 banelings do finish morphing in from over by the rocks. A nice position to morph them, but unfortunately, he's going to have to deal with the possibility of losing a lot of drones right now. The Ling's running rampant around in his base, trying to make something happen. One baneling does explode on barely anything at all, and the second one as well. Does Ragnarok have any left?
Not really, and he's starting to lose workers now, and this is when it gets a lot more dangerous. Can we bring up the workers killed tab, please? Let's see here. 11, now 12 workers have actually fallen, so the economic disparity that we were discussing before is still there, but now it's in Lucky's favor.
Oh yeah, Lucky's in a fantastic spot at this moment as he's going to be teching to roaches, making drones, making a few additional links so that he's safe against any counterattacks. Because, you know, we've seen this happen, actually. I recall a match involving Chef and somebody else. It was on Shatter Temple, and basically it was a huge engagement. One player absurdly ahead. The game's pretty much over. He killed like every drone, but with the remaining money, he makes a ton of zerglings. The other guy's like, I've got this. I'm just going to drone now, and loses. And, you know, it's you want to make sure that you're safe against the possibility of a counter, which Lucky's going to be here.
Yeah, and I think there was something going on inside of Ragnarok's main a second ago. There were some units that were actually sent back to deal with that, but I think everything's okay now. There's some red that was going through there, and he transfers some drones back. But Roach Warren's on the way for Ragnarok, but of course it's already finished with Lucky, who's just not looking to let off the gas pedal, and that's 12 roaches coming out, and that's a lot.
Yeah, definitely a huge quantity on the way right now for Lucky. He's going to be making some sort of a push. We do see Ragnarok with a Roach Warren about 15 seconds from completion, but of course the Roaches are still going to be a ways away. Lucky has already got his on the field. Is he going to be pushing out with these immediately? I do think so. The possibility of Ragnarok not having Roach tech available, but it looks like he's sitting, at least for the moment. We do see he's reinforcing with speedlings. Here we go. Roach is going to be moving out, and 7 on the way right now for Ragnarok. Lucky is going to try to be capitalizing on the economic damage that he did earlier and turn that into a win at this time.
Okay, well, let's see here as the banelings are trading back and forth, but this huge line of units just continues to steamroll its way across the map, and Lucky continually reinforcing. Ragnarok's producing quite a bit right now. Can we take a look at the units tab, though? He's down 7 to 12, now 8 to 12 roaches, so still a disparity and a huge disparity in the overall Zergling and Baneling count. So this is all just going to come to a head right here. Nice job to actually make sure that the Baneling hit the structure, so it did a little bit additional damage. But Lucky now just kind of trying to bull rush his way up the ramp, and I think he may be able to do it, especially with the additional Banelings that are starting to make their way in. Nice transfusion actually hits the Spine Crawler. The Banelings managed to take out 5 drones that appeared there, but still Ragnarok just doesn't have anything left to defend this, and it looks like his reign of terror may actually be coming to an end.
FXO looking like they're going to secure their first win as Ragnarok, currently at 67 supply with a massive bank account, is, yeah, I mean, now just going to be able to pour units is way to victory. And we do see Lings and Roaches cleaning up the last vestiges of Ragnarok's defenses. He's popping out 3 more Roaches, but there is more than enough here from Lucky to deal with this. GG, yo, going to be dropped by Ragnarok.
That's right. So Ragnarok does his job, though, as the starter for TSL, takes 2 games from FXO, but Lucky has finally put FXO on the board, and we're going to roll into game number 4 now, and it's actually a pretty close set.
Yeah. Looking really, really impressive for a while there from TSL. But who are they going to be bringing out next? We're going to find out.
Actually going to be Valve. So, player that I'm not terribly familiar with, I have to admit. So,
it's always fun. Team matches, you know, they give opportunities for breakout players to really come and make a showing. Right. So, we'll be jumping into that shortly, guys. Quick commercial break coming at you, and then we'll be back with game 4 now between TSL and FXO.